like to start right off by saying that I respect everybody until I get disrespected. And then usually it comes back tenfold, which kind of sucks because when you're on the receiving end of that, fuck you. I listen to Bill O'Reilly probably nightly because I think he has the most truth of a lot of the supposed newscasters, but he's not a newscaster. Bill O'Reilly is an opinionist. He's telling you his opinion. Same with, the rest of the newscasters. The mainstream media isn't news anymore. It's an opinion. It's an opinion of the people that run the station. And it's an opinion of the people who own that station. So it's not the news you're getting. You're not getting news anymore. Prime example. I like Bill. I respected him, but as I said, when I get disrespected, I get a little fucking pissed off. So let me start with this. Fair and balanced. The spin stops here. No, Billy Boy, when you call me a wacko because I'm a so-called birther, I got fucking news for you, Billy Boy. Obviously, it seems to me that I looked at the evidence, I digested the evidence, I came up with an opinion that that evidence was evidence. It's evidence. To say that I'm a wacko because I took time to look at the evidence, because when somebody stood up and said, here's my birth certificate that I've been avoiding giving you for all of this time, and you just need to accept this because, the President of the United States isn't going to get involved in these little distractions, as he calls them. Yet he's the one that says the only people who don't want to disclose the truth are those with something to hide. Famous words of this fucking illegal, alien, Muslim mutt in our White House. So, back to you, Billy Boy. Fair? Balanced? Really? No spin? Really? How come then, sir, that when Orly Tates got her case all the way to the Supreme Court about Obama's identity fraud, his illegal use of his Social Security number that doesn't belong to him, that anybody can run through E-Verify, his fraudulent use of this birth certificate that was found to be a fraud, all kinds of nice stuff anyway. This isn't the only investigation. We also have Mike Zullo, off of Sheriff Arpaio's team. You call these guys wackos too. A professional. This is a detective. What are your qualifications, Billy Boy? How did you investigate? I'm pretty sure I could tell you how you investigated, because I've heard this in my family. When the asshole stood up, the illegal alien Muslim dog, or bunghole, or, whichever alias he's going by today, because he does have 4 or 5. I'll give him another one, a bunghole. Anyway, when some jackass stands up and says, this is my birth certificate, you gotta accept it, and you do, you're as ignorant, if not more ignorant, than congressmen and senators that do what some asshole like Nancy Pelosi tells them to do. Sign this bill into law so we can find out what's in it. And then abysmally ignorant motherfuckers do it. I thought these people worked for me. I thought they were looking out for me. How signing anything, I don't care what it is, into law without reading it and understanding it, and then signing it into law, which makes, you're bringing it down on every American's head from your decision that that's what needs to be done, but didn't even read it. Based on lies. Every American will be able to keep his or her plan that they... You like the plan you got now? You can keep the plan you got now. You're a fucking abysmal liar. Back to the identity fraud there, Billy Boy. if Orly Tates, if Mike Zullo, if the Skip Trace, let me see, Albert Hendershot, Skip Trace, just happened to find this information about, oh, Boneholes, alter ID, again, another one, and another one. Anyway, what I'd like to know from you, Billy Boy, Mr. Fair and Balanced, explain to me, if all of this is bullshit, if Orly Tates just manufactured all of this evidence, if Sheriff Arpaio's detective, Mike Zullo, just manufactured all the evidence he has, if Albert Hendershot just made up all the shit that he's made up, why are people going after them for fraudulent fucking making up shit, why isn't somebody going after these people for fraudulence? For making up in, you know, this, what they have is evidence. So that's fraud. Supposedly the evidence they had is pure fraud. Now, if this is the President of the United States, which should be the biggest story of all time, the President is not who he says he is. He's not who he pretended to be from the beginning, ever. Barack Hussein Obama doesn't exist. Barack Obama Saborka does. Last time we knew, that was the only identification he went under before he disappeared and became Barack Hussein Obama. And I can't understand how any American can proudly put their hand up and say, I voted. I voted for somebody who has aliases. Not one. This is aliases. To proudly put your hand up and say something like that, I think just totally displays your ignorance. Nobody knew anything about this man. Nothing. They knew he was in the Senate. They knew he came from Chicago. And guess what? His skin was black. Got to jump on the bandwagon. Every person who had black skin, right on the bandwagon. Any person with white skin who had to prove to the rest of the nation, had to prove to his neighborhood, had to prove to his family that I'm not racist. You see, I voted for Obama. How can I be racist? Is racist. To vote for somebody on their skin color alone, good, bad, or indifference, sorry people, is racist. Back to you, Billy Boy. Find somebody who can prove that any of this evidence that Orly Tates has come up with, the evidence that Sheriff Arpaio's detective Mike Zullo has come up with, and come up with any evidence that Albert Hendershot's evidence is manufactured, made up. Because that's fraud. Isn't it? People are committing fraud against your so-called president. Why isn't somebody bringing this up? New show? Fair and Balanced? Really? You're going to have to prove that, Billy Boy. Now, what I'd like you to do, why don't you look at the information? Because I know either you have, and you know that Obanghole is an illegal alien Muslim. You know this, and you're just ignoring the fact, or you haven't looked at anything. And you were just one of those people when he held that piece of paper up, that was good enough for you. You got to thrill up your leg, and it's all done. Sorry, I'm not satisfied with that. Especially when it's been proven time and time and time. How many lies can you count that this piece of shit in our White House has told? This is going to be the most transparent administration ever. What? Transparency and rule of law will be the cornerstone. What? You haven't told the truth since you've been there, you lying motherfucker. Bunghole scare? Totally unconstitutional. Why don't you look into Judge Roberts' background and see what old bunghole was blackmailing him with to have him turn around at the very last minute, if you remember now. Go back to when old bunghole scare was trying to get through the Supreme Court, and at the last minute, Judge Roberts just changed his mind, mysteriously, and decided that it wasn't a mandate, it wasn't unconstitutional because they weren't making you buy anything. They were just going to make you pay a fine if you didn't buy something. Have a look in Judge Roberts' background and the illegal adoption of his 2 Irish children. That's what was going to come forth. So he shouldn't be a Supreme Court judge. 2 other Supreme Court judges are in there that old bunghole placed in there. You starting to get the picture, people? It's no wonder why the truth hasn't come out. Because old bunghole has a lot of people putting stops to it. You think Holder doesn't know? Holder's implicit. And let's go with the Benghazi bitch. Remember her? Yeah. Clinton. Why do you think she got that State Department job? Because she and Billy Boy were the original birthers. Remember that? Then all of a sudden it quieted. Haven't heard a word from Billy Boy or Hitlery since, except to place their lips firmly on old bunghole's butt and publicly kiss. So, back to you, Billy Boy. Prove any of these people manufactured any of this evidence that they're showing. That's fraud. You could put a stop to it. Mr. Fair and Balanced, I challenge you. I doubt I'll ever hear it.